Hello, my name is Dana Wells, and thank you for watching Book Critique 3. So for this week, my feature text is A Tree is Nice by Janice May Udry with pictures by Marc Simont. This is a 1957 Caldecott Medal and a concept picture book. So this concept book is a book about trees. So A Tree is Nice tells the story of multiple and individual trees and the many uses that the trees provide. All of the uses and benefits of these trees are while the tree is planted, so it is an eco-friendly, pro-environment book without ever mentioning those words or becoming argumentative or defensive, and it just provides a nice intro, especially if it was presented on an Arbor Day or an Earth Day or something like that. And so trees are used year-round, from shade to leaf piles, apple picking to climbing to hiding, and they end the book talking about planting trees, which would be a nice transition. So my first lesson is an English lesson, and I decided to do a poetry lesson. So this would be incorporated into a 5th grade classroom. So after reading A Tree is Nice, the students will discuss with their table groups the different types of poetry that they already know. Using direct instruction, the teacher will present students with different forms of poetry, including ballads, limericks, haikus, free verse, concrete poems, or anything else that the students can come up with. The students will discuss with their table groups which poem they would like to create together and which they would like to create individually. The students must create 2 poems using the theme of nature or conservation, or just anything around Earth Day, and then they will present them to the class. So here, down here is one of the state standards for 5th grade, and just about presenting and using graphics and sound in their presenting. But here is one of the ways that I incorporated technology into this, was creating a haiku counter. There's a cool website, which is pictured down here, poetrysoup.com, and the students are able to type it in, and then it provides the syllables per line, which was a really cool website. So my second lesson was a science lesson. And so after reading A Tree is Nice, the students will be asked to discuss different varieties of trees with their table groups. A class discussion will be opened up to name as many trees as possible, and you can even make this a competition between table groups just to try and get the kids really involved. The students will research different types of trees native to the local area. The class will take a field trip outside the school to discover what trees are on the surrounding school grounds. And if my future school happens to have a little forest right next to it, like my school did growing up, then they can go and explore that too. So each student will choose a type of tree, research it, and create a virtual poster using canva.com to present it later to the classroom. Student work will be displayed in the hallways during the interdisciplinary unit on nature or conservation. So then here is an example of the tree I picked. I picked the tulip poplar tree. It is the state tree of Indiana, which is where I'm from. We have quite a few in our yard, so that's why I picked that tree. So some of my other great reads this week were The Tale of Despereaux, one of my favorites growing up. So it is by Kate DiCamillo, a 2004 Newbery winner. It is the sweet story of a little mouse named Despereaux who falls madly in love with the princess, sent to the dungeon, and he ends up imitating the story of a knight that he's always read about. My 5th grade teacher actually created this into a play. She adapted it into a play. And I was Miggery Sow. And so I would love to do that for one of my future classrooms too, is just to make it into a play. My second book is This Is Not My Hat by John Klassen, a 2013 Caldecott Medal and a picture storybook. It's the funny story of a little fish who steals a hat from a big fish and is convinced that the big fish won't find him. The pictures tell a detailed story, and they're intriguing, and the ending is left open to students' interpretation. You could incorporate this into an English language arts classroom by having the students write their own ending and interpret what they think happens to the little fish, or the big fish, or even the hat. The third book is Black and White by David McCauley. It is a 1991 Caldecott Medal and a picture storybook. This book is so fun to read. It's captivating. It's divided into 4 different stories that are intertwined, but you don't really know if they're intertwined or not, so it's a crazy interactive story that can be incorporated into a literature classroom and have the students make their own interactive stories, from the perspective of the boy or even the cows or the young girl waiting for her parents to get home. And it's such a fun book. My last book is Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak, a 1964 Caldecott Medal. It's such a classic read, but story of a young man who is misbehaving and sent to bed without his supper. His imagination just kind of takes him on to another land where the wild things live, and he becomes their king. But he realizes he misses being loved and wanted and goes back home. So also a great story, and could really be used to just kind of help students, switch that mindset and focus on the bigger picture and being nice to other students, especially recess and on the playground. So thank you for watching Book Critique 3, and I look forward to showing you Book Critiques 4 in the future.